Hey guys, it's me, Mr. Sullivan. I'm here with my daughter. She's making some stuff for us to do uh, in my next video. Kind of just wanted to go over some of the stuff that I've been putting out there with the modules and everything. And so I think this might be a good way to do it. I also downloaded a thing where I can kind of walk us through PowerPoints and whatnot. And so I might start making like actual classes and lessons and going through PowerPoints. So because I, like you guys, are probably pretty bored. And you need to do some work and learn something. So this is the first video. It should be pretty good. If actually, it should be pretty bad. So let's kind of go through everything that I wanted to do today. So I gave you guys two modules. And those modules, the first one dealt with Marbury versus Madison. And I apologize for it being so long. It was kind of redundant, and I don't think that was something I really meant to do. Um, but the More Perfect and the podcast I thought was a really good podcast. And some of the takeaways I wanted to get from that is that it created a Marbury versus Madison created a precedent. So now, what does a precedent mean? It means that we have a precedent that now it gets pointed back to, all the other precedents can point back to. And the precedent that this one created was literally the job of the Supreme Court. And that job was judicial review. All right, good. So that means Marbury versus Madison set up a judicial review. Okay, good. So what does that mean? Judicial, guilty, innocent, review. They get to review the laws that are, whether it's constitutional or unconstitutional. So in the actual case, what is so kind of amazing is the fact that Chief Justice John Marshall kind of ninjas them into creating their job, right? So he was kind of stuck in this corner of, well, if I say no to Thomas Jefferson, he's just going to ignore me. But if I say yes to him, he's going to be like, I thought so. So good number one. All right. So basically, what ended up happening was he was like, neither. I have a new job, and my job is judicial review. So that is basically the main takeaway of Marbury versus Madison. So when you're thinking about Marbury, think about Marbury versus Madison setting up judicial review. There was another court case that John Marshall also ruled over, and that was McCulloch versus Maryland gave power to central government elastic clause necessary and proper. My daughter's looking at me like I'm a little weird right now. So, anyway, those are the two cases that Chief Justice John Marshall are basically most well known for. And McCulloch is important, but Marbury is definitely probably the most important because if you think about it, nobody wanted to work for the Supreme Court back in the day. It was in the basement of the legislative branch and like the boiler room. Nobody really cared about what it was doing. Yeah, go get one. And so, what was I talking about? And because of that, people would like leave the job that is there for your lifetime, so you could be in there for however long you want. And because of that, people would still leave. And now it's like the most sought after job for a Supreme Court justice is one of the most sought after jobs in law. All right, good. So let's go to the next one, which was, yeah, I'm sorry about that was so long. There was like a lot of redundant stuff in that one. I apologize for that one, guys. All right, the next module was module 2, and that dealt with the First Amendment also. Now, easy way to remember the First Amendment. I think the best part about that one was you had starting off with an idea, and where do most of us get our ideas? Religion, depending upon what religion you are, or if you don't have religion, just your brain. And then coming out speech, and moving all the way out to like petition. So that was I think was a pretty good way to kind of remember it. An easier way to even remember it than that is a rapper, but you have to spell it with two P's. RAPPS, religion, assembly, petition, press, and speech. All right. RAPPS. That's an easy way to remember it. That gives you all the parts of the First Amendment. All right. So the first part that we were going to look at was the religion part. Okay. The religion. So we had Engel v. Vital. The Engel case dealt with whether or not we can have school prayer. If you asked my dad, he would have said yes, of course we should have school prayer, but that was not the case with the Engel case. And what ended up happening with Engel is that school prayer was no longer allowed. The difference, there was some issues that were brought up with the Engel case, and that was basically what about In God We Trust and all these other things. Remember, government can't get involved into religion, okay? Religion can get into government. That's okay, but government can't get into religion. And that's probably the most important thing you gotta kind of really get. Because the reality is, when people say, hey, why do they pray before Congress? That's okay, because religion's allowed to get in there, but we can't have it the other way, okay? So that was the Engel case. No more prayer in school. Specifically, the court provided an example. I'm sorry. Let me kind of look through the main takeaways that I wanted for you for that one. It's really just making sure that you understand there's going to be no official church or official religion of the United States. We didn't want to be England again. All right, good. So the next court case was the Yoder court case. And this is actually a really interesting one too. Because this does something called, this helped incorporate the case of the free exercise case. And I'm going to talk about incorporation later on. And it's specifically all your amendments. We're going to talk about that. So anyway, what happened with Yoder was Amish, which it's kind of ironic. His name's Yoder, but Yoder is Amish. They wanted to take him out of school, and the court basically said the families, their religious beliefs and practices outweigh the state's interest in making the children attend school beyond 8th grade. So what ended up happening now is that in the Amish and Mennonite religions, you don't have to go to school past 8th grade. And because of that, that is something called the free exercise clause. Yeah, free exercise. All right, so Yoder dealt with exercise, okay, in Wisconsin. Easy way to remember the Engel case. Engel, no more angels in school, no more prayer in school. Easy way to remember the Yoder case is just the fact that his name's Yoder, and it sounds like a Amish name. So anyway, those were the two cases I kind of went through. You have to know them. Those are the ones that are super, super important. I am going to... In both of these, it alluded to something called the 14th Amendment. We're going to talk about the 14th Amendment. I had talked about it already. There are 4 main clauses in the 14th Amendment, 2 of which that are going to be really important for this class. The first one we will talk about very shortly. But before we do that, we got to memorize all the amendments. So what I'm going to do right now, my daughter is now making numbers for me right now. And I will give you a new video to show you how to do something called the Mind Palace. So as she's doing this, I want you to come up with 10 spots in your room. 10, okay? So they all have to be different. So you can't have 2 chairs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got to be like, so I have a piano in my room. I have a I have a sofa. I have a small coffee table. I have
Chair. I have a guitar.
a
I have a
guitar.
banjo.
She's helped me answering me. All right, good.
I have a
So
piano.
because of that, what I want you to do is pick 10 spots in your room, okay? And you got to memorize those spots, and you got to say. So if I say one, you're gonna be like piano. If I say two, it's couch, okay? So you have to memorize those spots, and I'm gonna teach you how to do something called the Mind Palace, and we are gonna memorize these first 10 amendments just like that. All right. So super excited. 10-minute video. Boom. Pretty soon I'm gonna buy some sort of like thing online that help so we can do like the PowerPoints and everything. But for right now, I'm just happy that I'm making a video for you guys. So awesome. If you guys have any questions, post them below. Like me on Facebook and Instagram. I don't even know what that means. So, that's funny, right? All right. Anyway, I miss you guys. Stay 6 feet apart, or else you're gonna contract something. I hope to see you by April 25th because we're gone till the April 24th. So I will also post things about what's going on with the AP test. A couple of you guys still owe some money for it, so make sure you pay. Miss Bradford, I don't know how you would do that right now, but hopefully we'll figure that one out too. So miss you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.